Is your husband a recovering pornography addict and you want to know, as the wife, how you can help him through the recovery process? I'll answer that coming up. Hey guys, Tim Fiddler here. Welcome to my channel. Recently, I was asked to do a video on how a wife can support and help her husband who is addicted to pornography and going through the recovery process. So this video will be specific towards married couples of those in relationships. Some people and couples do not have a problem with viewing pornography. They don't see it as being a problem in their personal lives, nor do they believe it affects their marriage. So this video is not for them. Even though I personally believe pornography is very harmful to the individual and family, I'm not here to convince anyone that it is harmful. What I'll be sharing is my perspective and my experience working with married men who struggle with a pornography addiction, and what I hear from them and their wives. When I start working with someone who is in my office for a pornography addiction, I have to assess the history of the problem. This assessment is based off their own perspective. Some people believe it's not that big of a problem, while others believe they are unable to control it and it is consuming their lives. I will ask these clients, why is pornography a problem? Most often, they will look at me like as if I'm joking. They will then talk about their religious beliefs, how it's against their church's rules, morals, and values, that it's bad, and that it's a sin. I say, so you follow all of your church's rules and guidelines except for this one? They think for a minute, then always say, well, no. Then why is pornography a problem? Isn't that why you're here? They say yes, but often don't know what more to say. They can't identify how pornography is a problem other than it being against their religion. I then start to interview them about their relationships with their wife, their kids, people at work, motivation, and satisfaction for things. Practically all will then admit when they view pornography, they become more irritable, that it's a waste of time, money. They are less patient with their wife and kids. They are more on edge with their wife. They are more critical of how their wife looks or behaves, and they have an unrealistic expectation of how things should be in their marriage and in their intimate lives. They feel the things they used to enjoy and love have lost meaning and excitement. Once the client realizes porn is not only bad because their religion teaches so, but all these other domains of their lives that are being affected by it, that is when I really see the motivation and change. People don't generally stop a behavior just because they're told to stop, just because they're told it was bad. They need to see how it's affecting their lives and the lives of their family. I would say more than half of the wives I meet with whose husbands struggle with a pornography addiction believe their husband's addiction is somewhat to a degree their fault, that they're not good enough, not pretty enough. They don't look like the women in the videos or in the pictures their husband views. This is understandable. They are comparing themselves, yet this is false thinking. Chances are the husband had this problem long before they got married, long before they even met and went on their first date. There is often understandable feelings of anger, distrust, and betrayal. It definitely takes time and work to help the wife feel she's not to blame and feel she's not the problem. Given the monster pornography is, I haven't met anyone who is and has always been satisfied viewing one picture or video for their entire lives. Pornography causes those who view it to constantly be seeking more images and videos and different kinds of content. As the viewer sees porn, large amounts of these feel-good chemicals are released in their brain. After time, just like a drug addiction, the same amount of drug isn't as effective to give the same high as before. Hence why people use more drugs or view more or other types of pornography. If a husband has been viewing it for 25 years and has learned to use porn as an unhealthy coping skill, chances are very high there will be slips or relapses along the way in recovery. I don't believe it's a realistic promise for a husband to tell his wife that he will never view it again. What I do believe is realistic is the husband's ability to be honest about when he's using it or when he's tempted to use it. Sometimes wives have asked if they should leave or stay with their husbands. I can't and won't ever tell a wife what to do. I've heard wives threaten divorce if their husband uses it even one more time. Leaving or staying is her choice. I do believe though that many very good men have been deceived and innocently introduced and ensnared by pornography. What appears to be a harmless thing is extremely destructive. The top answers I get from individuals who struggle with this addiction, given the generation, typically indicate they first saw porn was while they were walking home from school or playing in a field. They found a picture or a magazine. Others report they innocently saw it from a pop-up on their computer screen, or a friend showed them without even saying what it was they were going to see. I cannot think of a single individual who has admitted to personally seeking it out and wanting all the negative that comes along with it. So what can you do about it? You need to disconnect yourself from the addiction and let your husband own his behavior and his own addiction. Yes, that's easier said than done, but once you realize this is not your addiction, this is not a result of you or your looks, your bedroom behaviors, you will start to disconnect from the problem. Yes, you will still not like it, but you won't become an emotional hostage to his behaviors. If a husband ever blames his wife for the addiction because she looks a certain way or won't behave a certain way in the bedroom, he is being deceived. This is a typical product of what pornography will do. It creates unrealistic expectations. If you choose to stay in the relationship, you need to process to what degree you can help be a support to your partner. What would that look like? Some wives can be very engaged and helpful in the recovery process, where others want to be less involved in the process. In many situations, you will need to find a therapist or support group where you can get further help and support. You may be surprised how many other women out there are going through the same struggles as you. From what I've seen, the vast majority of husbands who have overcome this addiction have done it with the help and support of their wives. I would not recommend the wife telling her family and friends about the husband's addiction without the consent of the husband first. This is very much a private matter for the couple to talk about and discuss before letting others know. I've seen situations where the wife told her parents and siblings. Ultimately, that relationship didn't work out. Not because of the pornography addiction, albeit a huge factor, but from the challenges that imposed on their relationship, as she was influenced and told what to do by the parents and siblings. The husband felt like an outcast, like a pervert. There was tons of shame. I'm not saying to absolutely not tell family. What I'm saying is be respectful of that sensitive information. Once it's out, you can't control who knows it and how their opinions may influence you and others. Now, just as much as we should be careful about who knows our dirty laundry or whatever it is that's going on in our backyards, we should be mindful of how powerful family and friends can be as a support. So once again, I feel this should be discussed first as a couple before disclosing it. So how can you support someone who is addicted to pornography? I'd first recommend asking them what it is you can do to help support them. Hopefully you both see eye to eye and that it's a problem and both have the same goals. Some men will ask that you support them in ways and help them with sobriety, such as putting a filter on the computer or their phone, making sure their phone is charging in the kitchen at night, out of their bedroom. Some will ask that you be willing to do daily check-ins with them, where he can report how he's been doing that day with his thoughts, his moods, and his actions. Some may ask that you go to therapy with them so you too can learn about the addiction and find ways to support them with the skills and tools they're taught. Men want to be seen as a husband, not as their addiction. This support is very much individualized to the individual's needs and how they feel they can get the support and help. Just as you're asking how you can support them, they too should be inquiring how they can support you. You together should make realistic goals and have realistic expectations about the process of recovery. I've seen men give up pornography completely and admit it's all because of their faith, the skills and tools they've learned in therapy to manage the addiction, and the positive support from their wives, continual love and acceptance of them and their imperfections. Might I stress too, wives, please do not turn into a detective and be focused on trying to catch him. It would be my hope there wouldn't be a need to become Sherlock Holmes, because the lines of communication and trust are now residing in the relationship. Pornography thrives on secrecy. Each of you need to be honest and transparent. As I mentioned before, you should most likely expect there to be further struggles going forward, meaning this last time is probably not your husband's last slip or relapse. This is not something so easily overcome, yet I have seen miracles where husbands and wives work together and they support each other and the husband overcomes it. I hope this video was helpful and gave some clarity. I'm also going to be making some videos teaching the skills and tools I use with my clients that have helped them overcome the addiction. So you'll want to make sure you subscribe for that. And thanks for watching.